Number 2, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent on the name of Lord Vishnu. 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scripture in reference to the Vedic version. 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6, to give some introduction to the holy name of the Lord. 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritual activities, which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, Karma Kanda. 9, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be net into while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining the Bhakti Sanga conference call today. Let us move to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all have joined the call this morning?
हरे कृष्ण वरना माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीतिदासी from Charlotte. हरे कृष्णा.
Hare Krishna Preeti Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Beautiful background. Jai Narsimha.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Balavinda.
Hare Krishna Balavrinda, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining, Balavrinda. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashamati Priya Devidasi from Chicago.
Hare Krishna Yashamati Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vanda Mataji, O Goshrila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Radha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Krishna Kumari Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vardhana Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Shama Gauri Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna Shama Gauri Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Vardhana Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Purnahat, all glories to Ashram Guru. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Deepland.
Hare Krishna Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vardhana Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. This is Sundarangi Radha Devidasi from Canada.
Hare Krishna Sundarangi Radha Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. And many congratulations on your initiation, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Beautiful name, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, dear, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Param Pavani Shama Devidasi from Baltimore, Maryland. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Param Pavani Mataji, Shama Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Is anybody else would like to introduce themselves?
I'll start the recording, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Welcome to the Bhakti Sanga conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. Prabhuji is going to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, chapter 13, verse number 30. Before diving into the call, I'll hand out the call to Sureshwar Sham Prabhu to give brief introduction of His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please take over the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Here is a brief introduction about Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, is the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs of the Bhakti Vedanta Vidyapith Research Center at Govardhan Eco Village. He is a member of the ISKCON Board of Examination. He holds a master's degree from Indian Institute of Sciences, Bangalore. He teaches Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Vaishnava character courses at GEV and at the several places in India. Gauranga Darshan Das has written several books including Gita Subodhini, Bhagavad Subodhini, Chaitanya Subodhini, Disapproved but Not Disowned, Bhagavad Pravaha, and Gita, the Jewel Box. He has special fondness for reciting and meditating on the scriptural verses and has compiled sloka books, namely Gita Ratnamala, Bhagavad Ratnamala, Chaitanya Ratnamala, and Bhagavad Tattvamala. He also runs a free monthly e-magazine called Bhagavad Prabha Deepika and regularly writes educational and devotional articles that also appear in the Back to Godhead magazine international and multiple Indian languages. He is known for his lucid spiritual talks with captivating visuals and also presentations that give a bird's eye view of an entire book or a section. So far, he has delivered over 4,500 hours of spiritual disclosures. He has guided several students in his Shastric study. He also oversees the deity worship at Govardhan Eco Village. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Back to you, Mataji.
Thank you so much for beautiful introduction, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Gauranga Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I'll hand out the call to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can I see the shloka that we are supposed to discuss today?
Yeah, Mataji will be sharing.
Prabhuji.
Can someone share the screen?
Prabhuji, can you see the screen?
I can see.
Yeah.
Can someone read this? After you read, then we will discuss.
Wait. Shamagori Mataji, will you read? Okay. Anybody would like to read? I will unmute themselves. Okay. Vasundhara Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Dehadibirdaeva tantre atmanah sukam ihataha dukkhatyayam cha nishashya kriyamogha krita kritaha. Hare Krishna. You want me to read the translation also, Prabhuji?
Yes,
Translation forward by His Divine Grace, Bhakti Vedanta, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The living entity tries to achieve happiness and rid himself of the causes of distress. But because the various bodies of the living entities are under the full control of the material nature, all his plans and different bodies, one after another, are ultimately baffled. Because the materialist is in gross ignorance of how the laws of material nature act upon him, as a result of his fruitive activity, he mistakenly plans to enjoy bodily comfort in the human form of life through so-called economic development, through pious activities for elevation to the higher planetary systems, and in many other ways but factually becomes a victim of the reactions of his fruitive activities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated as a super soul within the cores of the hearts of all living entities. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto mathas pratijnanamohanancha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The desires and activities of the living being are observed by the super soul, who is the Upadrishta, the overseer, and who orders material nature to fulfill the various desires of the living being. As clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita 18:61, ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां हृद्देशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया. The
Mataji,
Lord is
Shushilpa
situated.
Mataji will read Mataji. Shushilpa Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Tanvat Pranam devotees. Tanvat Pranam Prabhuji. Prabhu, by his divine grace, is Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord is situated in everyone's heart, and as one desires, the Lord gives one various types of bodies, which are like machines. Riding on such a machine, the living entity wanders throughout the universe under the control of material nature and its modes. Thus, the living being is not all free to act, but fully under the control of material nature, which is fully under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as the living entity is victimized by material desires to lord in over material nature, he is subjected to the control of material nature, which is supervised by the supersoul. The result is that one again and again makes plans and is baffled, but as foolish as he cannot see the cause of his bafflement. This cause is distinctly stated in Bhagavad Gita. Because one has not surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he must work under the control of the material nature and his straight laws. Devihi esa guna mayi mama maya duratyaya. The only means of becoming free from this entanglement is to surrender to the Supreme Lord. In the human form of life, the living entity must accept the instruction from the Supreme Person, Krishna. Sarvadharman parityatya mamekam saranam vraja. Do not plan to achieve happiness and drive away distress. You will never be successful. Simply surrender unto me. Unfortunately, however, the living entity does not accept the Supreme Lord's clearly stated instructions from Bhagavad Gita, and thus he becomes a perpetual captive of the laws of the material nature. Yagnarthat karmano nyatra loko ayam karma bandhana. If one does not act for the satisfaction of Krishna, who is known as Vishnu or Yajna, he must be entangled in the reactions of fruitive activities. These reactions are called papa and punya, sinful and pious. By pious activities, one is elevated to the higher planetary systems, and by impious activities, one is degraded to lower species of life, in which he is punished by the laws of nature. In the lower species of life, there is an evolutionary process, and when the term of the living entity's imprisonment or punishment in the lower species is finished, he is again offered a human form and given a chance to decide for himself which way he should plan. If he again misses the opportunity, he is again put into the cycle of birth and death, going sometimes higher and sometimes lower, turning on the samsara chakra, the wheel of material existence, as a wheel As a wheel sometimes goes up, sometimes comes down, the straight laws of material nature makes the living entity in material existence sometimes happy and sometimes distress. How he suffers in the cycle of happiness and distress is described in the next verse. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances to all the devotees who assembled for today's session. In the shloka and purport that we just read, Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada both are saying that the conditioned soul wanders in the material existence because of the existence of material desires in the conditioned soul's heart. All the endeavors or travels that a conditioned soul does in this material world are centered on fulfilling desires. A living entity means desires exist. So living entity has to have some desires. Then only it's called living entity. Now a simple mouse or mouse pad or some non-living thing cannot have any desires. They work according to the desires of living beings. So the conditioned soul has a desire. Just like Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he has unlimited spiritual desires, and of course he can easily fulfill those desires through his energies and through his great devotees. Similarly, the part and parcel or the Amsha of Krishna also has desires. As Amshas of Krishna, we also have some independence. We also have some ability to desire, Ichha. But point is, when the desires are material because of association with material energy and material modes, they cause degradation of the soul. All these desires are stored in the mind. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Uddharedatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhur atmaiva ripuratmanah. Uddhared atmana atmanam means one should elevate oneself, one should uplift oneself by one's mind. Natmanam avasadayet, one should not degrade oneself by the mind, right? So the mind is a storehouse of so many desires and feelings and thoughts, attachments, aversions, likes, dislikes, etc., etc. So one should be smart enough to utilize this desiring tendency of the mind towards desiring something which is good, worthwhile, beneficial, and not degrading to oneself. That's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Uddhared atmanam atmanam avasadayet. Atmaivahi atmano bandhu. When the mind is regulated, when the mind's feelings and emotions and desires are regulated and channelized towards a positive direction, then such a mind is our dear friend, very well-wishing friend. But when that same mind is not regulated and the mind is allowed to meditate on unnecessary desires, unnecessary emotional attachments, bonds, then that same mind will become an enemy for the conditioned soul. Actually, mind plays a pivotal role in one's spiritual advancement. Ultimately, all the sadhana practices that we do, whether it is Shravanam or Kirtanam or Smaranam or Padasevanam, all the sadhana practices are meant to bring us to a stage where we always remember Krishna. And that remembrance of Krishna is done through the mind. Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhya jimam namaskuru. Manmana, always think of me, Krishna said. Maya saktamanaha partha yogam yunjanmadashrayaha. Mai asaktamanaha. Oh Arjuna, let your mind have asakti towards me. Mai asaktamanaha means let your mind have deep attachment and asakti and interest towards me. Maya asaktamanaha partha. And also ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasati tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Ananyas chintayanto mam. Don't allow your mind to think of many other materialistic things. Just think of me. Just think of Krishna. So Krishna instructs Arjuna that if you always think of me, then yogakshemam vahamyaham. I will take care of your safety. I will take care of you. You don't have to worry about your safety. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Take my shelter. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. I will protect you from all kinds of sinful reactions. You don't worry about it. Your sustenance, your maintenance is my responsibility if you think of me. That's what Krishna says. So we need to divert our mind's desires and emotions towards Krishna. Then we will avoid this transmigration. Otherwise, if we misuse that little independence that we have under the influence of the three material modes, Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamogun, then we will have to wander in this material world. That's what this shloka says. The jiva forgets the Lord. And that forgetful conditioned soul comes under the influence of Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. And such a forgetful conditioned soul under the influence of three gunas identifies oneself with the material body. And all the actions of that conditioned soul are under the influence of Sattva-Rajas-Tamo gunas. Right? And such a person also gets different types of bodies as per the Sattva-Rajas-Tamo gunas. How? Let's get into little detail. Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha madhye tishtanti rajasa. So Krishna also says that those who are in mode of goodness, those who perform their actions in mode of goodness, being influenced by mode of goodness, will go to upper planets. And those who are influenced by mode of passion will remain in this earthly planet. And those who are ignorant, those who are influenced by tamogun, they go to animal kingdom or even the lower planets. So when somebody is influenced by mode of goodness, they perform pious activities according to the Vedic injunctions. And they go to heavens, where the devatas reside. And somebody who is in mode of passion, they perform very ambitious activities, laborious activities, passionate activities under the influence of Rajogun. And they remain in this earthly planet generally. And those who perform very ignorant activities, tamoguni activities, those who are confused, bewildered, miserable, always lament, they glide down to animal species. Right? So this is the influence of the material modes on the conditioned soul's mind. And the jiva gets different bodies. One may think that what's the problem in cultivating sattvagun and going to a heavenly planet? That's very good, right? One may think like that, but it's not necessarily so. Because sattvagun, although it's better than rajogun and tamogun, sattvagun is also a material mode. It is not Shuddha Sattva. In this material world, there is nothing like Shuddha Sattva. In the material world, all the three modes are affected, are contaminated, are mixed with the remaining two modes. Sattvagun is not existing in a very pure state. Sattvagun is also having some tinges of Rajogun and Tamogun. Somebody may be predominantly in Sattvagun, but in such a person who is in Sattvagun also, some passion exists, some ignorance exists, right? If there is no passion, there is zero passion, and there is zero ignorance, such a person is in Shuddha Sattva Guna. Such a person is very, very elevated spiritually, right? So, one should perform activities under Sattva Guna because it is better than Rajogun and Tamogun, but one should eventually transcend Sattva Guna also. One should go beyond that also because Sattva Guna will take us to heaven. Where is heaven? Of course, heaven is on a higher plane than earth, but heaven is also in the material world only. I sometimes give this example that you are traveling in a train and in a typical train that may go from, say, Mumbai to Delhi, something like that. There may be three types of compartments: general compartment, sleeper compartment, and AC compartment. In the AC compartment, the journey may be very comfortable. May not be very comfortable, but at least somewhat comfortable. In sleeper compartment, the journey may be less comfortable. And in general compartment, it may be very difficult journey, right? But just because you are sitting in the AC compartment, will you reach the destination faster? You all will reach the destination at the same time. Travel may be little comfortable, but you will not reach faster just because you are sitting in AC. You will not reach slow just because you are sitting in general. The train, ultimately the train is going at a certain pace only. All the compartments in the train are going at the same speed. Similarly, whether somebody is in Svargalok or Bhulok or Patalok, they are all there in the material world only. Svargalok may be more clean, more enjoyment may be there. It's in a higher plane. One can be more happy. One can have long life. One can have good health. But still, in Svargalok also, people have to suffer. The flavor of suffering may be different from the flavor of suffering in the material world. There may be more comforts and more enjoyment there. The grade of enjoyment may be much higher in Svargalok in comparison to Bhulok, but it is all material enjoyment. Svargalok itself is in material world. When the material world is destroyed, when this entire material universe is destroyed, even heaven is also destroyed. Hell is destroyed, heaven is destroyed, earth is also destroyed. So everything in the entire material universe will be destroyed completely. So one should never try to make a permanent residence in this material world. Prabhupada says, don't make this material world as your permanent place of residence. It's temporary. You may travel in the train, and while traveling in the train, you just look through the window. You may sometimes see very beautiful waterfalls, very nice trees and flowers, valleys, greenery, and fields, long fields sometimes. So they look very nice. They give a lot of pleasure to the eyes when you're sitting next to a window seat and nice breeze is coming, and then you are able to feel it very nicely and you're seeing nice scene. But the train moves. Sometimes the train may have to pass through some very filthy area, not so beautiful area. And you may even get some foul smell also while passing through some areas. It happens in Mumbai locals, right? You pass through some area and the kind of smell is like so terrible that it can just come and overwhelm us, right? So, but the point is, when you're traveling in the train, you are just a passenger. You must stay in the train for 1 hour or 2 hours or 10 hours or 15 hours. All the beautiful scenes that you have seen through the train window, they don't belong to you. All the ugly scenes that troubled you, that made you get disgusted while traveling in the train, they also don't belong to you. You are just on a journey from one place to another place. The journey may take 10 hours or 12 hours, whatever. That's all. Similarly, all of us are in this journey, in this material world. Actually, the soul's journey is from the material world to the spiritual world. While doing this journey, the soul may encounter so many moments of happiness or distress. success and failure, victory and defeat. So happiness and distress. So one should not become so overwhelmed, because all those things in the material world that are causing you happiness will not remain permanently. And all those things that cause distress to you also are not permanent. So nothing is permanent. So one may have a very big multi-story building, one may own it, but one has to leave that. Or one may be living in a simple poor hut, but one need not stay in that simple poor hut eternally. One has to leave that also. So whether it is opulence or poverty, whether it is prosperity or poverty, one has to leave everything in the material world, just like in a train journey. So train journey may last for 10 hours or 20 hours, and our journey in this material world may, in one particular body may last for 70, 80, 90, 100 years max, not more than that. So once you come to the destination, just because you like the train and your berth and the fan above you, will you make a permanent residence in the train? Similarly, however comfortable your journey has been in this material world, we have to leave it, not our home. Ultimately, this material world is not our home. Spiritual world is our home. So ultimately, train is not our home. Home is somewhere else. So train is only there for your journey. Whether you like your seat or like all the objects you are seeing through the window, you can enjoy, no problem, as long as as long as you are traveling in the train. But you should not get attached to them. So that is that kind of detachment from everything material is integral integral part of spiritual life, right? Now there's a shloka from the 4th canto of Bhagavatam. Kshutparito yatha dinaha sarameyo graham graham charan vindanti yaddishtam dandam odanameva va tatha kamashayo jiva uchchavacha patha brahman uparyadhova madhyeva yati dishtam priya priyam kshutparito yatha dinaha. Kshutparito means hungry, a hungry dog. Yatha dinaha sarameyam graham graham. A hungry stray dog in a typical Indian village, for example, wanders from house to house. Right? Sarameyam graham graham, goes to different houses. Will I get some chapati here? Will I get some bread here? Will I get some rice here? It's just moving around. Charan vindanti yaddishtam dandam odanameva. Sometimes this wandering dog, stray dog, may get some food at some place. There's some excessive food or some left out. People may just feed the dog. But dandam odanameva, sometimes people may not feed the dog. People may say, hey, out, out, chai chai. They just kind of chase away the dog. Every time the dog may not get proper food just because it's going from home to home. Similarly, tatha kamashayo jiva uchchavacha patha brahman. In a similar way, kamashayo, just like a hungry dog goes for food everywhere, similarly, jiva, conditioned soul, also goes to fulfill his material desires to different bodies. Uchchavacha patha brahman. Uchchavacha means sometimes higher bodies, sometimes lower bodies, sometimes human bodies, sometimes animal bodies, sometimes devata bodies, or sometimes snake bodies, or fishes, bodies of aquatics or birds. Like that, the living being takes birth into different species, all because kamashaya. There are sense gratificatory desires, there are material desires. Upari adhova madhyeva. Sometimes he goes to the upper planets, sometimes adhova. Upari means upper planets, adhova means lower planets, madhyeva means middle planets. Sometimes he goes up, sometimes he goes down, sometimes he's in the middle. Yati tishtam priya priyam. And in this higher, middle, and lower planets, he experiences so many priya and apriya. Priya means very dear things, good things. Apriya means bad things. This is how a conditioned soul's wanderings in this material world are compared with a dog's wanderings on the street. Right? So, paryadhova madhyeva. So, when will this stop? Actually, the conditioned soul is being cheated. The soul is spiritual in nature. Therefore, soul can enjoy only on spiritual plane. So any amount of material enjoyment can never give happiness to the soul. The soul must enjoy only on a spiritual plane. But the material bodies created by material modes, by the material energy of the Lord, Maya, promises to all of us, to the conditioned souls. You go to this body, you will get enjoyment. You go to that body, you will get enjoyment. You are unable to eat sufficient flesh in human body, become a tiger, become a lion, you can enjoy better. Right? You're unable to enjoy your sense gratificatory desires in a human body, then you become a monkey, you can enjoy better. You're unable to sleep sufficiently to your heart's content in human body, become a bear. So the desires are so deep rooted, this conditioned desires in the heart of conditioned soul, they they instigate and inspire the conditioned soul to trust so many material bodies, sometimes human forms, sometimes non-human forms. And the conditioned soul has to go to different bodies to fulfill those desires. Oh, I will get some enjoyment in this body, maybe in that body. Let me become an animal. Let me become a dog. Let me become a cat. Let me become a monkey. Let me become an elephant. Let me become a fish. I can nicely swim. Sometimes there are human beings. They want to constantly explore the sea. They want to go deep into the sea. They want to study what happens in the sea. And there are some human beings, they want to explore the sky. What all happens in the sky? Let me just go. Let me go to the outer space. Or some human beings are there, they don't cover their bodies properly. They, although human beings are supposed to be civilized, they may wander in a different style. And there are some human beings, they want to cheat other people, loot other people, or eat flesh. So they want to be, they want to eat non-vegetarian food, and they kill other animals and eat their flesh by cooking it. So different desires. Then, according to those desires, they enter into those bodies that facilitate the fulfillment of their desires, right? So this human body is not facilitating this particular desire that you have. Better you take a non-human body. Better take animal body. Like that, people are just wandering to fulfill those material desires, and these bodies are cheating them with so much of hope and desire and anticipation. This conditioned soul goes into a particular body that belongs to certain species. Once he enters there, he's frustrated there also. He's unable to enjoy sufficiently. Then he's cheated. Okay, I think this body is not giving me happiness. Let me go to another body. He will go to another body. There also is cheated. Sometimes people want certain gadgets. They have certain requirement and they purchase one. And somehow there are some flaws or some shortcomings, and this gadget is unable to fulfill their needs completely. Then they will purchase another one after 1 year or half a year. So like that, they're purchasing only. The first one is not totally gone. It's not worn out. Just because they have a desire for another feature, they go to another gadget. Right? Upgradation. Okay, this phone is there. Oh, it has only 128 GB. Let me take 256 GB. Oh, this has only 250 GB. Let me take 512 GB. Oh, this has only 50 megapixel camera. Let me take 100 megapixel camera. So like that, this Maya induces so many desires into us. And we develop those desires, and to explore those desires, we keep on changing so many gadgets. Just as we change gadgets, just as we change dresses, just as we change locations, we change bodies also. We go to different lives. We become animals, we become birds, we become aquatics, we become this or that. Like that, the conditioned soul is wandering from one body to another body. So many bodies, right? Every body is cheating, because the requirement of the soul is spiritual requirement. Everybody is anandamaya bhyasa. We need an enjoyment, happiness. But that happiness is not available on a material plane. It is available, but that so-called material happiness will not satisfy the spirit soul. The spirit soul must be experiencing spiritual happiness, spiritual pleasure that is available only in Bhakti Yoga, not by any amount of material enjoyment. This basic logic most conditioned souls miss. Most of the conditioned souls, even those who are practicing Bhakti also, sometimes when they are not sufficiently mature, they may take pleasure in many other external things, in their position, power, privileges, and other things, and they forget to take pleasure in Krishna Nama Rupa Guna Leela. The conditioned souls forget to take, the sadhaka bhaktas forget to take pleasure in genuinely worshipping Krishna, doing some manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. And while exploring their material desires, these conditioned souls experience a lot of distress also. And they have to carry so much burden of bodily maintenance, taking care of one's health and physical body, many other things. As this Bhagavatam says, Yatha hi purusho bharam sirasa guru mudvahan tatskandena sa adhatte tatha sarvaha pratikriyaha. Somebody is carrying some weight on the back, on one shoulder. So they're carrying so much weight, and when they're feeling very heavy, what do? They take that weight and put on the next shoulder. Now, this shoulder may get some relief, but that burden went on this shoulder, right? So, who is carrying this burden? The same person is carrying. The same person is carrying the burden, but just by transferring from this shoulder to this shoulder, or from shoulder to head, and from head to hand, and again to shoulder, or back like this, they are only carrying the whole burden. Similarly, they try to, when they encounter some troubles, they try to counteract the troubles through material remedies. And material remedies are also human created only. You have a material problem, you have a material remedy for the problem. And how long this material remedy can solve the problem? And Prahalad Maharaj goes to the extent of saying that dukkhaushadam tadapi dukkhamatadhyaham. The material solution for a material problem can be more problematic than the original problem itself sometimes. Right? The solution becomes more problematic than the problem itself. Sometimes it's like that. You know that story. One disciple, one brahmachari disciple wanted to study Bhagavad Gita. He's studying Bhagavad Gita. And somehow some rat is disturbing him in his Gita study. Rat is moving around all over the place and all. Just to catch the rat, he got a cat. So cat came and the cat chased away the rat. But to maintain the cat, he needs some milk. So to maintain the cat, he got a cow. The cow is giving milk. But to maintain the cow, he needed a wife. He needed a wife. So he married. Then after several years, he settled down in a home with a married wife and then cow and a cat, and Gita is in the cupboard. Right? He's unable to maintain the wife, and he has to go out and work and do many other things. So Guru said, "Arey, I told you to read Bhagavad Gita. What happened?" He said, "Oh, I got a rat and then the cat, then then a cow and a wife and a home and so many other things, children and all. So I forgot my Gita study." So sometimes to counteract one problem or to reduce one type of burden, we may accept more burden. We may be tricked into a deeper problem, right? So unless the conditioned soul takes to the ultimate solution of Krishna Katha and Bhagavatam and Bhakti Yoga, one has to wander in this material world like this only. The ultimate remedy is to surrender to Krishna. And who will teach us how to surrender to Krishna? A guru will teach us. Right? Bhaktya paramaya guru. So when a guru teaches us bhakti, and under the guidance of guru, when we practice the process of devotional service, then we can stop this brahmanda brahman. The material desires will never stop. The fourth canto of Bhagavatam says that our material desires are like waves in a river, small ripples in a river. They will never stop. But when the river meets the ocean, the huge oceanic tides, big waves of the ocean, will completely overpower these insignificant ripples on the river. Similarly, when a conditioned soul agrees to serve a guru, a spiritual master, and act according to the instructions of the spiritual master, then one's own material desires will be eradicated. A spiritual master's desires to serve Krishna are like the waves of the ocean. A conditioned soul's desires for sense enjoyment are like ripples of a river. Just like when the river meets the oceanic waves will overpower the insignificant ripples of the river. When a conditioned soul meets a spiritual guru, guru's desires to serve Krishna will overpower the conditioned soul's disciples' desires to sense enjoyment, to do sense enjoyment. So we need to take shelter of a guru and practice bhakti under the guidance of guru with the blessings of guru. Then this brahmanda brahman, or wandering in this material existence, will be stopped. Otherwise, one has to continue one's wanderings in this material world forever. Because life after life, life after life. Because every time when somebody is entering a material body, the material body presents so many ideas. Already so many desires are there. To fulfill those desires, he entered one body. And while living in that body, so the conditioned soul acquires more number of material desires, many more material desires. And to fulfill those desires, they will have to enter another body. So how to stop this? Yatpada pankaja palasa vilasa bhaktya karmashayam grathitamudgrathyanti santah tadvanna riktamatayo yatayopi ruddha shroto ganastamaranam bhaja vasudevam. Yatpada pankaja palasa vilasa bhaktya. By sincerely engaging in the service of the lotus-like feet of the Supreme Lord Krishna, what will happen? Karmashayam gratitham udgrathayanti santa. Our karmashayam, our desires for fruitive activity and enjoying fruitive results, those desires will be destroyed. Means our material aspirations and our desire to enjoy the results of our fruitive activities will be uprooted. Grathitam udgrathayanti santaha. Right? Then tadvan nariktamatayo yatayo apiruddha. But those who don't have bhakti, riktamatayo means those who are devoid of bhakti. So these people, jnanis and yogis and karmis, all these people, even if they try so hard, they cannot even stop their waves of sense gratification. Sroto ganastamaranam bhaja vasudevam. Therefore, bhaja vasudevam. Worship Vasudeva. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Modhamati. Even Shankaracharya says, stop your endeavors for sense gratification. Better worship Govinda. So we should stop the speculative endeavors to cultivate concocted philosophy, and we should stop fruitive activities for high-grade sense enjoyment and take shelter of Krishna. Then all the desires are fulfilled. All the spiritual desires are fulfilled and material desires are eradicated. Kritsromahan iha bhavarnavamaplavesham षड्वर्गनक्रमसुखेन तितीर्षन्ति तत्त्वं हरेर्भगवतो भजनीयमङ्घ्रिं कृत्वोडुपं व्यसनमुत्तरदुस्तरार्णम्. Kritsromahan iha bhavarnavamaplavesham. This ocean of nescience, this material ocean, is very difficult for common people to cross. Why? Shadvarganakramasukena titirishanti. Because it is infested with so many dangerous sharks. Nakramasukena. Titirishanti. Very difficult to cross this material ocean because there are so many sharks and whales. Somebody, conditioned soul, is trying to swim across this material ocean. How long he will swim? Even if the conditioned soul, even if that person who is drowning in the ocean is an expert swimmer, how long he will swim and in which direction he will swim? Where is the shore? In all directions, he is only seeing water. If he looks up, he will only see sky. There is no beginning, there is no end. And he is in the middle of the ocean. Even if an expert swimmer, very difficult to swim. Okay, he is swimming in some direction. Even if he happens to find, okay, in this direction there is a shore, there is an island, let me just go inside. He's swimming, swimming, swimming. But if some whale is attacking him, some shark is attacking him, some shark comes and then eats his hand, eats his leg, what will he do? In which direction he will swim? How can he swim? So our condition is like that. So for such a person who is drowning in the material ocean, in the middle of the ocean, the only hope is when a boat comes and rescues him. Boat should come and rescue. So what is that boat? Tattvam harer bhagavato bhajaniya mangharam kritvodupam yasanamuttara dustararanam. So the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Krishna is like a boat that can help us cross this material ocean. So this boat of the Lord's lotus feet, is a very mystic boat, very special boat. This boat is not only strong enough to take one across the material ocean, the boat is also having some mystic power, some magical power to condense the ocean. When you take shelter of that boat, the ocean becomes smaller. How small? As small as a calf's hoof print. Samashritaye padapallavaplavam bhavat mahatpadam punya yasho murari bhavambudhir vatsapadam param padam 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 yadvipadam natesham. Samashritaye padapallavaplavam. This extensive material realm, material ocean, will become as small as a calf's hoof print. How much water is contained in that calf's hoof print? Hardly anything. So ocean becomes like that. By taking shelter of Krishna. You just get into the boat, get down from the boat, you're in the spiritual world. So the process of Bhakti Yoga is that which protects us from all kinds of material desires and protects us from this protects us from drowning into this material ocean. Now, no other process, whether it is karma path or jnana path or yoga path, all these processes do not have the sufficient ability to rescue us from this material realm. Now you see, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva dhaneshu yat punya phala pratishtam atyeti tat sarvamidam vidhitva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. What you get by studying Vedas, performing yajnas, offering charity, and doing many other prescribed Vedic methods, all this cannot give us as much satisfaction and as much benefit as taking shelter of Krishna. Atyati tat sarvamidam viditva. Performing Bhakti Yoga will definitely give you the results of all these other processes, and it will give much more. Yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. A yogi has that param sthanam. Ardhavani says in one chapter, Kim va yogena sankhena nyasasvadhyayayorapi Kim va shreyobhiranyaischa nayatratma pradoharihi Kim va yogena sankhena. By performing this mystic yoga or doing some sankhya yoga or studying and analyzing matter and spirit, Nyasa by taking to renounced order, Svadhyayaropi by studying Vedas, Kimva Shriyo Bhiranyesha, or performing other types of auspicious activities, all these things cannot benefit us as much as taking shelter of Hari. Na yatratma prado harihi. Hari is called Atma Prada. What is Atma Prada? Atma is soul. Atma Prada means one who gives soul, literally speaking. But we are souls. How can the Lord give soul to us? We are souls, basically. But the souls are lost. When the soul is not acting according to what one is supposed to do, the soul is said to be lost in this material world. For example, there is a golden ring, very beautiful golden diamond ring. Precious gems are there, studied into that golden ring. If this golden ring falls into gutter, in some kind of Suez canal or very septic tank or whatever, now gold ring will not lose its value, but its shine and its and its real utility is not in action. Basically, when the golden ring falls into gutter, it's of no use, basically. The real glory of golden ring is when it adorns the beautiful hand of a human being, not to lie in the gutter or Suez canal or septic tank, right? But golden ring is golden ring, wherever it is. Similarly, soul, when the soul is lost in this material world, which is like a gutter, which is like Suez canal, the real glory, real shine of the soul is lost. Or lost that it's not manifest, right? It's not manifest. It's hidden. But there is always a possibility to uplift that conditioned soul from that gutter of material world and reinstate the conditioned soul in his original glory as a servant of Krishna, as a lover of Krishna in the spiritual world. Just as, although the golden ring is there in gutter for 10 days, 20 days, 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, whenever you find it, you can immediately pick it up, wash it nicely with soap, and put it back in the hand, because its value is not lost, right? Meanwhile, if the gold rate increases, it can be it can become more expensive also, because it's not lost by being in the gutter. Similarly, the soul also, when the soul is in the material world, the soul's original glory as a lover of Krishna and servant of Krishna is not manifest. But it's not a hopeless situation. By performing Bhakti Yoga, you can pick up that soul from the gutter of material world and reinstate the soul back in its original glory of being a servant of Krishna. Mahimnisve mahiyate. The original Mahima of the soul will be visible. So that's how the scriptures describe the process of Bhakti as something which can reinstate us in our original constitutional position, what we are meant to be doing. Other processes are not so effective. Shrutena tapasa vakyam vachobhischittavrittibhi buddhya vakyam nipunaya balenindriya radhasa. Shrutena tapasa vakyam. Shruta means Vedic education. Tapasa means austerity. Vachobhis anya chittavrittibhi, and our power of speech or eloquence and mental speculation. All these things, elevated intelligence, buddhya, nipunaya, expertise in doing many other things, bala, physical strength, indriya radhasa, sensual power, all these things will not give us as much satisfaction as bhakti, sincere devotion to Krishna. And that bhakti basically means Ravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So one has to take shelter of the process of bhakti yoga to be reinstated in one's original glory as a servant of Krishna, as a lover of Krishna, as a devotee of Krishna, as a selfless, dedicated, unflinching, loyal servant of Krishna. And in that situation, we can really enjoy spiritual happiness, not by wandering in the material world in different species. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you. Thank you so much for wonderful class, Prabhuji. I think devotees have questions. We'll go ahead, Prabhuji. Parampavni Mataji, please unmute yourself and go ahead, ma'am.
Krishna dear Prabhuji, thank you so much for wonderful class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as you mentioned, like, I give the example of the train. If there is general compartment, sleeper compartment, or AC, the train is like the material world, whether it's heaven, earthly planet, or the hellish planet. Prabhuji, there is a question like, can't jivas perform devotional service in the heavenly planet and go back to God?
Yeah, possible. Definitely. Even those who are living in upper planets like Svargaloka, Bhuvarloka, Svargaloka, Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, all of them can perform bhakti and go back to Godhead. But many times what happens is those who are in the heavenly planets, they are overwhelmed with unlimited opportunities for sense enjoyment. So in such a high grade sense enjoyment, they don't feel the need to perform bhakti. They're too distracted. And in the lower planets, there is so much suffering. Hellish planets, there's so much suffering that they won't be able to perform bhakti with focus. But in the earthly planet, there is a combination of some happiness and some distress. Upper planets, too much of happiness. Lower planets, too much of distress. But here, there is a balance there. So in such a situation, we get a better or conducive environment to perform bhakti better.
Prabhuji, thank you so much. Prabhuji, one more question. Like, the devotees are having, like, now, like, I'm not qualifying to consider me as a devotee, but maybe next birth, or like after million, like, I will get chance to perform, like, where I stop in this part, as Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. But like, if I still maintain the material desire, like, will Krishna allow me to take like birth after birth, like, then, and to continue the devotional service where they stop, or Krishna will show some mercy and give me some situation and take, like, so push my devotional service.
The devotee has some unnecessary material desires which are not favorable for bhakti. Krishna will kindly eradicate them. Like Dhruva Maharaj had material desire. He wants to become greater than Brahma. He wants to attain a position superior to Brahma, and many other things. He had some revengeful attitude. He had some envy towards his stepbrother, but he performed bhakti sincerely. Krishna removed all those material desires. Krishna completely removed all the contamination of envy, pride, greed in Dhruva and made him a pure devotee. So all we need to do is sincerely follow the process of bhakti yoga. If there's anything unfavorable or objectionable or bad within us, contamination within us, the process of bhakti will remove it by Krishna's grace. And when will we go back to Godhead? That it's not in our hands. We don't have to think about it so much. All we need to think about is just sincerely practice the process. Ravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Sufficient. Krishna will do the needful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Then
Thank you
crash
so much
Srimad
for wonderful answer. Devotees, if anybody have any question, please raise your hand. And
no questions. We'll stop here. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
there is one more question, Prabhu. Sundaranand Prabhu, please go.
Hare Krishna, Vandana Pranam.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I always read your book. It's so inspiring. Always today, it's so motivating. Even for children books, and I have the Gita Subodhani books, so it is very interesting. And how to like what you can say, how to more steadily focus on that. Sometimes we are doing that, but again mind deviates. So like what we can do even for the children also.
Yeah, we can try to take assistance from other devotees who are little more fixed up than us. And regarding kids, you can bring them in contact with other children who are little more absorbed in their bhakti. There are many kids across the globe who are nicely practicing bhakti at their tender age. So such people will give more inspiration to other kids of their own age group.
Oh,
So we
yes.
can find out ways and means to bring children in contact with other devotee children, because they spend a lot of time in school where all children are not devotees, they're not practicing bhakti. So that way their distractions are more, their exposure to material ambience is more than their exposure to spiritual ambience. So we need to maximize their exposure to spiritual culture and spiritual association, and that will protect them from the material association.
Sure. So any platform there where we can have a like a connectivity, like guidance for the children, how they can be trained?
You can see in your own community, local community, there may be some Sunday school programs and all that.
Oh,
Another option is online. You can
online.
always register for online courses, kids courses.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Then
Thank you, Prabhuji. Divya Mataji, please go ahead with your question, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna, all the devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such wonderful lecture, Prabhuji, as always. Prabhuji, I had one question, but not regarding this class. Can I ask you? Prabhuji, I feel I don't have motivation for Ekadashi. I always feel very hungry, and I most of the time uh, because of I don't know why during night time I get vomiting, so I feel like the fast is incomplete because of that. So I can you please give some tips that how to stay motivated in Ekadashi, because I find it very difficult.
If it is difficult because of genuine health reasons to fast an Ekadashi, you can always eat some fruits, drink milk, or any non-grain food is okay. Ekadashi need not be totally nirjal. Yearly once devotees do, but on Ekadashi also you can eat properly 2 meals or 3 meals. Just ensure that there are no grains in that meal.
Yes,
You can
Prabhuji, it
eat.
is with fruits only, but during night time, it becomes a bit difficult. You know, I feel like I will lose my body. That's what I feel.
By eating fruits.
Yeah, only fruits.
Only fruits. You can just take any non-grain prasadam. You can take vegetables. You can cook very nice vegetables. Nowadays people make Ekadashi dosas also, Ekadashi pizzas also. ISKCON has become very creative in finding so many wonderful recipes, elaborate recipes, even for Ekadashi also. You need not depend only on fruits, Mataji. You can take this
Okay,
varai
okay.
rice. There is sabudana kheer. Uh, you can have multiple options. As whatever suits your health, you can do. No need to starve yourself when the body does not have the capacity to handle it. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, if somehow if we get vomiting during the Ekadashi, then is the fast considered to be broken, or is it considered by the Lord? Because I have heard that if you vomit, then it is not the fast is not accepted by the Lord or something. I heard from somebody. I don't know from it was from
We
authorized only.
have intentions. आराधितो यदि हरि तपसा ततः किं नाराधितो यदि हरि तपसा ततः किम अंतर्बहिर्यदि हरि तपसा ततः किम नान्तर्बहिर्यदि हरि तपसा ततः किम means when you're actually doing aradhana of Krishna, what's the use of tapasya? And when you're not worshipping Krishna, then what's the use of tapasya? So the scriptures say that tapasya does not get central focus in bhakti. Yeah, you can do little austerity, not an issue, but the point is the focus should be on the Lord. Why we perform Ekadasi, Upavas and Ekadasi? Upavas means, Upa means close. Vas means reside. Upavas means residing closely. Towards whom? Towards Krishna. Residing closely towards Krishna. And Ekadashi day means, Ekadashi day we fast because we bring our 11 senses, 5 knowledge senses and 5 working senses, and mind, of course, the boss of all senses. We bring all the 11 senses closer to Krishna. That's upas. So on an Ekadashi day, what we are supposed to do on any day, not only Ekadashi day, specifically Ekadashi day, the logic behind fasting is minimize our bodily needs and maximize absorption in Shravanam Kirtanam. That's the point. But if your fasting is disturbing your Shravanam and Kirtanam, better eat something, preferably non-grain. Because Mahaprabhu is insistent, you should not eat grains on Ekadashi. Okay, keep grains aside, and any other food that is compatible with you, that doesn't cause vomiting or any other health issue, you can eat that, happily eat that, sumptuously eat, and then chant Hare Krishna, do some services, instead of starving yourself and becoming more bodily conscious. And if by chance, if somebody has vomiting or any other health issue, never think that Krishna is not accepting our service. Whatever service we do with sincere intention, Krishna will accept it. Whether we vomit or don't vomit, Krishna will accept it. There is absolutely no connection between this and that. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Shyamagauri Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very, very wonderful class and very nice explanation. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your time and association. You are so busy, but still you came and gave class for us. Thank you so much.
And devotees, if nobody have any questions, we'll end the call here. Prabhuji, is that okay, Prabhu?
I think Prabhuji left the call, Mataji. We can end the
Oh.
call. Yeah.
Vaishnavind ki jai. Jai. Gaurang Darshan Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Jai.